next topic that we're going to work on today is working with solving equations. Now, what we're doing today is starting what is probably the most important topics that we are going to be covering this year in algebra. And being that it's pretty early on in the year, that means that it's pretty important, because if you cannot solve equations, you are going to have a very difficult time being able to be successful in geometry, algebra 2, or any other math topic that you may take yourselves into in the future. We are still going to focus on using that golden rule of algebra, and while we're talking right now, I'm going to focus on having you fix that word in golden on the side there. But what we want to do today is we're going to basically take what we did yesterday and we're going to undo it. And so I want you to think about this as if we're talking about the process of getting ready to go to a birthday party. You're getting someone a gift. The first thing you're going to do is take that gift and you're going to put it into a box. You're going to seal that box. You're going to measure out the paper. You're going to wrap the paper, put the paper on the box. You're going to fill out the card, put it in the envelope, and put that to the package. Once you get to the party, everything is going to be done in reverse. The person's going to take the envelope off the package, open it up, read the card, take the paper off the box, unseal the box, take the gift out of the box, and then thank you. And so we're going to really focus on that undoing piece. So our first example here is solving -3 plus 5x equal to 12. And so we're going to use order of operations backwards. I refer to it as SADMAP instead of PEMDAS to determine which operation to undo first, which means we need to ask ourselves, we need to work from the outside in, kind of like we do when you're working with various parts of order of operations, in that we want to get from the outside the stuff that is least attached to the equation or to the variable and down to what's most attached. So if we look here, this plus -3 is what is least attached because that 5 is directly touching that x. And so I want to get rid of this plus -3 first. And to get rid of a plus -3, we're going to minus -3. But if we remember, minusing a negative is that chunky plus. So to undo a -3, I'm going to add 3. But if you remember when we talked yesterday, that means that we also have to add 3 to the other side. Because if we don't add it to the other side, we're not maintaining that equality or that balance, knowing that that equal sign means that what's on the left and what's on the right are the same. So I always like to then draw a line under it because I'm doing my operations. Now, if it helps you out, cross out what you're canceling out because then you know that it's gone. Now, please remember as well that if you want to draw a line down through that equal sign to separate the two sides of the equation to make sure that when you do something to one side and you attempt to do it to the other side, that you really are doing it to the other side. When I cancel out here, I'm left with a positive 5x on one side and 12 plus 3, which is 15 on the other side. So then our next step really kind of comes down to that next piece of using the golden rule of algebra to cancel the operation, which we just did. So now that we've gotten rid of what's least attached, which was dealing with that subtraction and addition, our next step is to focus on any multiplication or division. Well, I always like to ask myself, what is being done to x? Well, right now, x is being multiplied by 5. And I know that multiplying by 5 can be undone by dividing by 5. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, which will then cancel out these 5's because 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 1 times x, or 1x, we know can be written simply as x. So then I take 15 divided by 5, and we get 3. Now, a lot of you are going, great, I'm done, I can move on. But the beauty of algebra is that it's the one subject in math where you can truly check your work. So while I'm not going to take away points on a quiz or test if you don't check your work, it is a good habit to get into. So what that simply means I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wonderful 3 and I'm going to go and stick it back up into for x. So my first step on my check is to rewrite the original equation of -3 plus 5x equal to 12. So then I'm going to go back to what we did 2 days ago. And we're going to say, substitute in -3 plus 5 times 3 equal to 12. And then order of operations. 5 times 3 is 15. So I have 15 plus -3 equal to 12. And when I do that, I get that 12 is equal to 12. So check, I'm done. I know I have a correct equation. The check is so critical because it helps you to know if you did your math correctly. So you should be able to catch it. Now if you're doing the check just for sake of getting the check done, which is why I'm not grading it, then you're not going to catch your errors. So please make sure you're actually using it. So to summarize, that first step is to use order of operations, using it backwards to determine which operation to undo first. Then using the Golden Rule of Algebra to cancel the operation by doing work on both sides. And finally, repeating those steps as needed until we get the variable solved for. We will continue this lesson in the next video.